The Mediterranean Sea was silent, deceptively calm, its dark waters hiding a storm of steel, radar waves, and human courage that would decide the fate of empires. In March 1941, fleets moved like shadows in the night, unaware that technology, intelligence, and timing were about to collide in one of naval history's most devastating ambushes. What unfolded near the rocky headlands of Cape Matapan would shatter illusions of invincibility, expose fatal command errors, and prove that the future of naval warfare had already arrived. This was not just a battle of ships, but a battle of minds, nerves, and seconds that changed the Mediterranean forever. Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today we step inside the Battle of Cape Matapan, a dramatic World War II naval confrontation where the Royal Navy delivered a crushing blow to the Italian Regia Marina, altering the balance of power at sea and demonstrating the deadly marriage of intelligence and radar-guided night combat. In early 1941, the Mediterranean was a chessboard of survival. Britain depended on sea routes to keep Egypt, Malta, and the Middle East alive, while Italy sought to dominate the central Mediterranean and cut Britain's lifelines. The Italian Navy was large, modern, and fast, boasting powerful battleships and heavy cruisers, yet it lacked two things that would prove fatal: effective radar and confidence in night fighting. Admiral Angelo Iachino commanded the Italian fleet with pride and caution, aware that Mussolini demanded action but fearful of British ambush. When intelligence suggested that British convoys were moving toward Greece, the Italian High Command authorized a major sortie. Their plan was bold but flawed, relying on speed and daylight gunnery to overwhelm British escorts. What they did not know was that their every move had already been seen, read, and decoded. British intelligence had broken Italian naval codes, and Admiral Andrew Cunningham, commanding the Mediterranean fleet, knew almost everything. He knew when the Italians would sail, what ships they would bring, and roughly where they would go. This knowledge transformed the sea into a trap. Cunningham assembled a powerful force including battleships Warspite, Valiant, and Bahram, along with the aircraft carrier Formidable, cruisers, and destroyers. Unlike their Italian counterparts, British ships carried radar, a revolutionary advantage that allowed them to see in darkness and bad weather. Cunningham's plan was patient and ruthless. He would let the Italians believe they were hunting prey, while in reality they were being stalked from every direction. On March 27, Italian battleship Vittorio Veneto sailed with cruisers Zara, Fiume, Pola, and a screen of destroyers. They headed east of Crete, confident in their speed and firepower. British reconnaissance aircraft soon spotted them, and the chase began. Carrier-based Swordfish torpedo bombers from Formidable attacked Vittorio Veneto, braving intense anti-aircraft fire. One torpedo struck the battleship's stern, reducing her speed and forcing emergency repairs. Though she survived, the damage slowed the Italian formation and injected uncertainty into Iachino's command. Night was approaching, the most dangerous time for a fleet untrained in darkness. As the day faded, both sides maneuvered cautiously. The Italians believed they had escaped serious danger and began withdrawing westward. Cunningham, however, pressed on despite orders from London urging caution. His decision was simple and personal. If he let the Italians escape, they would threaten convoys again. He trusted his ships, his radar, and his crews. British destroyers shadowed the Italians through the night, feeding radar contacts back to the fleet. The stage was set for a devastating encounter that the Italians could neither see nor imagine. The second phase of the battle unfolded under moonless skies, where visibility dropped to almost nothing. Italian cruiser Pola, damaged earlier by an air-launched torpedo, slowed to a halt. Admiral Iachino made a critical error. Believing the British were far away, he ordered cruisers Zara and Fiume, along with destroyers, to turn back and assist Pola. This decision sealed their fate. They were sailing blind into the jaws of the British battle line. Shortly after 10 p.m., British radar picked up multiple contacts at close range. Cunningham's battleships altered course silently, their guns trained and ready. At a range of just a few thousand yards, the British suddenly illuminated the night with searchlights. Italian ships were caught completely by surprise. The moment was apocalyptic. Warspite, Valiant, and Barham opened fire almost simultaneously, unleashing massive salvos at point-blank range. Shells tore through Zara and Fiume, ripping steel apart, igniting fires, and killing hundreds in seconds. The Italians had no time to respond. Some guns never fired a shot. Destroyers joined the slaughter, launching torpedoes into burning hulls. The sea became a nightmare of flame, smoke, and debris. Within minutes, Zara and Fiume were wrecks, sinking slowly beneath the waves. Pola, helpless and illuminated, met the same fate shortly after. Italian destroyers attempted rescue but were driven off. The engagement was brutally one-sided, a textbook demonstration of radar-guided night combat. For the Italians, it was incomprehensible. They had believed such encounters were impossible, relics of earlier wars. Now they were dying proof that naval warfare had changed forever. As dawn approached, the British surveyed the devastation. 3 heavy cruisers lay sunk, 2 destroyers destroyed, and thousands of Italian sailors were dead or struggling in the water. Cunningham faced a moral dilemma. Enemy aircraft were approaching, yet leaving survivors to drown was unthinkable. He ordered rescue operations, saving hundreds of Italian sailors, an act of humanity amid destruction. Vittorio Veneto, battered but afloat, escaped to Italy. Strategically, however, the damage was catastrophic. The Italian Navy had lost its core striking force in a single night. The aftermath of Cape Matapan echoed far beyond the Mediterranean. For Britain, it was a triumph that secured vital sea lanes and boosted morale at a time when victories were rare. It validated radar, intelligence, and aggressive command. Cunningham's defiance of cautious orders elevated him to legendary status. For Italy, the defeat was devastating. Confidence shattered, and the Regia Marina became increasingly reluctant to engage the British in open battle. Their ships remained powerful, but their spirit was broken. The battle also sent shockwaves through naval strategists worldwide. It proved that battleships without radar were vulnerable, that air power and intelligence could shape engagements before guns ever fired, and that night belonged to those who could see without light. Cape Matapan was not the largest naval battle of the war, but it was one of the most decisive in terms of doctrine and psychology. It marked the end of traditional daylight surface engagements as the dominant form of naval combat. In the years that followed, the Mediterranean remained contested, but never again would the Italian fleet challenge British dominance with such confidence. Cape Matapan became a cautionary tale taught in naval academies, a reminder that technology ignored is defeat invited. For the sailors who fought and died there, it was a night of terror and bravery, of commands obeyed and lives lost in moments beyond control. Today, the waters off Cape Matapan are quiet once more, their surface betraying nothing of the wrecks below. Yet history remembers what happened when silence, darkness, and knowledge converged. The Battle of Cape Matapan stands as a defining moment of World War II naval warfare, a battle where foresight defeated firepower, and where the future announced itself in thunder and flame.